my beauties and bees, and welcome to another installment of Cryptic Corner, where we explore the unexplained, the supernatural, the paranormal and hidden, the mysterious, the alien, the accursed, and the forbidden. I am your hostess, Miss Bumblebee, and today we are doing another mystery big cat. Who's here for that? Because I love myself some mystery cats, if y'all can't tell from my constantly covering them on this segment of the show. We've had so many mystery cats, I couldn't even, I should put together a playlist, I really should, of different mystery cats that I've covered over the years that I've been doing this segment, right? I should put that together. But today's mystery cat is, again, it's a black one. They're always the black ones when we cover the UK ABCs, or alien big cats phenomenon. They're almost always black, always pitch black. The Appalachia Black Panthers, black, right? Of course they are. The Australian mystery cats, some of them are striped, but some of them are black. So, aw, you dreamed about a lion that loved to snuggle 2 nights ago? Aw, I dreamt that somebody attempted an assassination on Sarah Weiss, and I had to call her or message her and tell her to not be in this place at this time. Because, yeah, I don't believe in woo, but, you know, like, there's a certain level ingrained in me. And sometimes I feel like the things that pop into my head that it's some my body trying to tell me something. So take it with a grain of salt, of course. All right, so let's see. We're going to be using Fishing Urban Ontario, of all places, to cover this topic. And if you look, they're not like a cryptid channel, right? I mean, they talk about some fringier stuff sometimes. But you know, like this is real stuff, though. Muskies do attack humans on occasion. I don't think anybody's ever been killed by a muskie. You know, sharks have been caught in the Great Lakes for whatever reason. Their albino moose is real. Mountain lions might be in Ontario. But what we're going to be talking about is this series that he's got going on right now. I guess it started 7 months ago. And it's about Ontario's mystery Black Panthers. So, yeah, he's an outdoorsman channel mostly. Like you see, like urban fishing and stuff like that. You know, but let's go. Let's dig into it. What do y'all say? Are you ready to meet some Ontario big cats?
For the past 3 decades, people of Ontario have been having sightings and close encounters with what they describe as a large black cat, resembling that of a cougar, or rather a black panther. What is really odd, though, about these sightings is that a lot of them are confirmed by the government to be credible. And we even have a confirmed photograph of a melanistic jet.
What is this? Is this April and the 4th of, I guess it's April 18th, 2010. Now, to me, this is just to me, you know, feel free to disagree. I'd love the disagreements in the comments down below. You all know I love that. I love when you all come at me. So go ahead and do that. Light me up in the comments. But to me, this looks like a domestic black cat. The head to body proportions, the spine, everything about the proportions to me says this is a domestic cat. Again, feel free to disagree with me. This is a domestic cat, in my opinion. Should I? Boop, 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 boop. Do, 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 do. Let's see. And they say it's a jaguar, so let's look at a black jaguar. Let's look at a black jaguar, because why not? Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. We're going to pull that one over. Give me just a second. I'll get y'all a picture. Let's open image in new window. Come on. There we go. All right. So this is a black jaguar. Okay. So, I mean, it gives you an idea what they look like, their proportions. They're very, very powerful forelimbs and compared to their hind limbs, because these are they're wrestlers. They jump in. I'm sure you've seen videos. They jump in the water and wrestle caiman and stuff. They have really powerful forelimbs compared to their hind limbs, even. And their head, while large for a pantherine, I think it's the largest proportional for the pantherine. That's because they got these mighty jaws, because they crack turtle shells and bite through crocodile armor, right? So when you look at this, right? When you look at this, do you see a jaguar? Be honest. Oh my, oh me, oh me, oh my. There's no such thing as a melanistic cougar. Not a thing. Unfortunately, we'll talk about that more. But it is a more realistic option. There's no melanistic cougars, though. Not scientifically verified anyway. They're sort of like a Maltese tiger, sort of legendary big cat. If you don't know what a Maltese tiger is, and you think that I should cover Maltese tigers, or sometimes just called blue tigers, in a future video, drop a tiger emoji in the side chat if you'd like that to be something we cover in the future. Maltese tiger, but what did Ember say? Because Equus said they would trust Ember. Ooh, yeah, Maltese tigers are an interesting topic, and it's crazy because I believe I'll have to pull up the records though, but there's like historical records of blue tigers, but there's like no modern account, and that's the craziest part, right? Like, I would love to see a blue tiger. I love a Maltese tiger is what they're called, and they're not called Maltese because they're from Malta. They're called Maltese because of the color, Maltese blue. Oh, you're mixing me and Ember up. We both are hot bitches, so that's okay. You can mix some hot bitches up. Let's continue on.
Jaguar, which was taken outside of Guelph, Ontario in 2010. Come with me now as I examine the evidence of cougar sightings and jaguar sightings in southern Ontario.
Is that Kip Davis? Good morning, Cap. Dr. Kill. I love your outro music, by the way. I was sitting in here hanging out with my roommate, Bo, earlier today, or not earlier today, last night, and your stream was on, and we are just kind of hanging out. It was like you and Vish, and I think it was Josh on there. Anyway, we were just like hanging out, but then it was like, no offense, but like background noise, like like just like hanging out and talking. We had some stuff going on in the house and whatnot. But anyway, your outro music came on, right, and I'm just like. Oh, gonna lose my top hat. Oh. Stay on. I had to, yeah. By the way, yeah, I wore this at the Spirit a couple of weeks ago and took some pictures, and it was super cute. And somebody was like, "Hey, buy that hat." So, you will get your pictures. I think I don't know if my benefactor who bought me this is gonna be here. But if you are here, you will get this get those pictures you requested. So appreciate you. Yeah, I have no filter. I am insane.
From my own research, I have personally received over 30 separate sightings of large black cats in Ontario. Additionally, I have also been able to find over a dozen newspaper headlines of people spotting a large black cat. Since I always map out every sighting I receive, one thing became obvious. Some of these sightings all happen in the same general area, almost creating like a hotspot.
Okay, so I do want to say, too, that I'm not saying that these sightings can't be mountain lions. Just mountain lions sighted in poor lighting conditions could be misconstrued as black, but we're going to see that a lot of this is domestic cats and dogs. Like when they show, there's like, well... We'll see. There are some credible Black Panther sightings especially in the eastern United States that I find very compelling, right? Maybe there is a black cougar population that hasn't been identified. Maybe there's some mutation that can occur very super rarely. But as of right now, it's not scientifically recognized as a thing that actually does happen. Sort of, yeah, like again, the Maltese tiger. Right?
As it were. Although the amount of sightings I currently have at this point in time is limited, let's go over what I have learned so far in the past 3 weeks.
And Ember, this isn't to scare you, because I know that this is sort of in your neck of the woods. So just on the Canadian side, so. You should not have to worry about Black Panthers in Western New York.
Starting with hotspot number 1, we have southwest of London. There's some sightings around Kamoka, around the reservation, and Port Stanley actually. Hotspot number 2 would actually be Oshwegan. But what's very interesting about these two sightings is they're practically right next to each other. The first sighting actually shut down a school in 2022. I shouldn't say shut down, though. They closed a recess, but they report seeing a big black cat with a long tail. And for the second sighting, I was sent this video by someone on Facebook.
I love when they bring up the videos and pictures. Okay, so what are we looking at here? Some sort of form. That's a thick tail. Or is that the back leg?
And this video was taken literally just down half a block from the last sighting. I'll leave it up to you what you think it is in the video, whether half a block from the last sighting. Taken literally just down half a block from the last sighting. I'll leave it up to you what you just down half a block from the last sighting.
While we reel through this over and over again. I'm thinking that also looks like a domestic cat. What do y'all think? And it doesn't look... Sorry. It doesn't look particularly black either. It looks sort of like a dark gray. So it could be a cougar, but it seems awful small. But it's hard to scale this. None of these trees look very mature, though. They all look like saplings. Okay. Unmute.
Actually having a lot of sightings would be Niagara on the Lake. And Niagara on the Lake is actually having a lot of sightings, some of them which are recent and making newspaper headlines. Hotspot number 4 would actually be a little triangle from Oakville to Guelph to Brampton. And in that little area, that's where we had our confirmed sighting, and where we...
That's a confirmed sighting of a cat. Photograph. This says photograph of a melanistic jaguar taken by a trail cam in 2010. But again, this is what a melanistic jaguar looks like, right? Not like that. Like that.
We also have had very recent sightings of black cougars, and even made a newspaper headline of a woman, I believe, who ran into one in Oakville Park. Hotspot number 5 would be Port Perry down to almost north of Oshawa. For some reason, right in that little stretch there, we've had some black cougar sightings. Hotspot number 6 would actually be around Perth to Jasper. A lot of the locals there have claimed to see them for years, claiming they're actually breeding as well. Some outdated spots that have had sightings, but not for decades now, would be the Wellandport area to Fort Erie. They had some sightings, but since these cats only live
there was
for
another picture. Was that
Erie, they had some sightings.
That's that same one.
Since these cats only live for I'm not taking them seriously at this point. Another area would be a few minutes east of Aurelia in Wyville. The other sightings that I know of so far are just kind of scattered, and they're not really a hot spot, I would say. If you are aware of another hot spot in southern Ontario or on...
So, I mean, I'm not trying to be super dismissive or anything, but none of the pictures that we've seen so far have been, or videos have been convincing that we're looking at a jaguar at all. I think that that the photo that she keeps showing is very clearly a domestic cat, a domestic black cat.
Ontario as a whole, please reach out to my email at fishingurbonontario@gmail.com, or let me know in the comment section down below. Now that we have gone over the evidence, it has become unlikely that most or all of these sightings are misidentified animals. Clearly, people are seeing most or all of these. Now that we have gone over the evidence, it has
you saying these dog videos?
That most or all. Now that we have gone over the evidence, it has become unlikely that most or all of these sightings are over the evidence.
That's a dog, and that is a dog.
That most or all of these sightings are misidentified animals. Clearly, people are seeing some kind of a big black cat. So let's go over 3 theories on why these sightings are happening and where these animals could be coming from. So let's start with theory number 1.
Theory 1.
And this is the official government.
Okay. A total of 52 credible black cougar sightings were reported in Ontario during the period of 1991 to 2010. 1 in the northwestern region, 15 in the northeastern region, 9 in the southwestern region, and 27 in the southeastern region. These were not classed as there is no record of black cougars occurring in North America. They were assumed to be escaped exotic animals.
Stance on these sightings. They believe that these animals likely were purchased outside of Canada, perhaps locations such as Texas, and later released over the border into our rural areas. However, this theory presents challenges, because if they're all domesticated pets that got released, these pets would have no hunting experience and would tend to seek out humans who look similar to their former owners, at least, for survival. Also, if it is a jaguar, jaguars are not capable of surviving our winter season. They're tropical animals, and these sightings have...
Calling a jaguar a tropical animal. So they used to live. They live in the desert here, and like I live in the western U.S. and there's jaguars here, and specifically in Arizona in the mountains. So they live in. They do like specific climes. However, Canada he's probably right about it being a little bit out of the healthy range for a jaguar to thrive, right? But because even the jaguars that live in North America don't really move into an area where it has freezing winters, at least not like consistent freezing winters. It might get below freezing at night in the mountains where they live, but okay. Your knot book, okay. Kip's working on the knot book. Well, I mean, it literally just having a cold, frozen winter.
have been happening for decades now. They clearly could not survive that long. Our second theory on these sightings is one that scientists hate because there's no proof for it yet at this time. Some speculate that cougars, just like jaguars, may be capable of melanism, resulting in black...
Notice how all the pictures of the black jaguar
cougars, just
black
like jaguars,
are either photoshopped. This one's a classic, and it's quite old.
May be capable of melanism, resulting in black fur. Although no confirmed cases of black cougars exist at this point in time. However, the possibility still remains open. Our last theory is a simple one.
Okay, and another thing about the black cougars is even if we had black cougars, the phenotypic coloration of cougars, of all cougar populations, have a buff cream underside. So even if they were to have a melanistic coat on the back, they'd still have a lighter underside. It might not be as buff and creamy as a regular cougar, but it's going to have a counter shading. And because all cougars have counter shading as adults. I mean, again, it could be a mutation, sure, but generally speaking, they're not going to be solid black, even if they have that coloration. And you can see that with the jaguar, with the jaguar too. They're not actually solid black. You can still see the rosettes underneath the melanin, right? There's still darker melanin here than there is here, for instance, so you still see the rosettes. That's how it works. Now, leopards, they will be like pretty solid black.
One. It may be that, simply put, cougars may appear black at times due to the way that their fur interacts with light. Watch this video, for example. Since it's far away and hopping in and out of the shade, at some points the coat looks black, but then looks a little more brown.
Where's this? Okay, and this is not a black cougar either. It's the way this is what their fur is supposed to do. It's supposed to turn them into a shadow. Buff and creamy. Yeah, I would watch that, Aunt Jer. It's what their fur has evolved to do. So, of course it's going to turn them into a shadow, and that's why people get. I think this is the most common reason for Black Panther sightings.
People may have very likely have seen a big cat, but just not a black one, which led to the misidentification. However, this theory could not hold up for sightings made up close in broad daylight. So what do you think?
Yes, it could. That one you just showed was in broad daylight.
Is it theory number 1, theory number 2, 3, or do you think it's none of these at all? Either way, let me know, as this topic is definitely up for debate, and we could benefit from everyone's take on this. If you enjoyed this video, I would encourage you to subscribe, as I'm going to be making more videos on this topic in the future, and if you enjoyed this one, you're not going to want to miss the ones that I'm making. So stay tuned, thanks for watching, and take care.
Alright, that's video 1. There's 2 of them that this guy put together. So, alright, and then we'll do this one. Same producer. This is an ongoing investigation, and as more information comes forward, these theories are subject to change.
In 2010, an OM&R worker, Rick Rosette, was studying cougar sightings from across southern Ontario in hopes of gathering evidence of them being present in the province. During his investigation, he made a startling discovery. His team captured a photograph on one of their trail cams, which they confirmed to be a melanistic jaguar, or as you could say, a black panther, as all big cats with melanism can be referred to as black panther.
Okay, hold on just a second here. There's this picture again. Yeah, I'm still convinced that this is a house cat. A domestic. It could be a cougar. I don't think it is. The head portion's kind of large for a cougar, and the tail is a little short for a cougar. The leg portions are definitely more cougar-like than jaguar-like, as I keep referring back to. Jaguars have like incredibly powerful forelimbs. They're not really arms, but I mean they wrestle with them like they're arms. Look how buff these are, though, and then look how dainty, yeah, compared to the back legs. Anyway,
panther, as all big cats with melanism can be referred to as black panthers, as that's a term for them.
Yeah, and that's true. Black panther is not a it's not a species. Black panther is a melanistic condition of a big cat. The 2 species that are known to display such characteristics are the jaguar of South, Central, and North America, and the leopard of Africa and Asia, and I believe into far Eastern Europe. Let me go back real quick and look at that.
With melanism can be referred to as black panthers, as that's a term.
There we go. Yeah, well, I guess not anymore. They used to, all the way up into antiquity, leopards and lions, for that matter, used to live all up in here. So they were indigenous to Europe. I don't know if they were black in Europe, though. They're more, the black leopards are most common in this part of Asia right here, right? They're very rare in Africa, actually. And they are black jaguars are more common in the Amazon basin.
For them. Sadly, Rick's further investigation into this was canceled. However, the evidence on this topic has only increased throughout the past 15 years. Just like Rick, my own personal investigation started with cougars and mountain lions, which are the same animal, of course. But like him, people started bringing forth evidence of Black Panthers as well. And at first, I didn't buy it. I just thought it was local folklore. However, it got to the point where 1 in 4...
Now, lions cannot be black naturally. At least not as far as we know. They can be black if you... Well, they aren't a lion then, but if you crossbreed a jaguar with a lion, they can be black. Pretty kitties. Yes, Chrissy, we love the pretty kitties. Mm-hmm. Yep.
First sightings people were giving to me were Black Panthers. And people continued sending me occasional video evidence, which was pretty convincing. As I kept seeing more and more evidence of this kind of stopped being some...
Come on now.
As I kept seeing more and more evidence of this...
Are you kidding me?
This kind of stopped...
Are you fucking kidding me?
As I kept seeing more and more evidence of this kind of stopped being...
That is a freaking house cat. Oh my goodness.
Something that I could just dismiss as being folklore. This kind of stopped being something that... As I kept seeing more and more evidence of this kind of stopped being something...
That looks like a dog. Look at the proportions. Look at those skinny hips. Broad rib cage with big lungs for cursorial pursuit, because dogs are cursorial pursuit predators, not ambush predators. So they have a big old rib cage, and there's barely any tail to be seen. Little doggy tail. Little doggy tail. Look at that. Little doggy tail.
I could just dismiss as being...
Now that is also...
of this.
House cat.
This kind of stopped being something
dog.
That I could just dismiss...
House cat. What are we doing here? I really wanted this to be good evidence, right?
This as being folklore. There seemed to be a lot of legitimate proof of this being a legit thing.
What the is that?
So, this has just built up so much curiosity in me for this topic, as I have decided to start another new series on the channel, Discovering Ontario's Black Panthers. I'm going to go across...
I'm not convinced by any of this stuff so far. Let me know if you guys are, though.
Southern Ontario to locations where these animals have been filmed, and I'm going to set up baited cameras there and cover any news regarding these animals. Keep in mind, of course, that the video evidence I have received so far is blurry. Sadly, it's just how it goes. Our phones can only really zoom in so far without losing its HD quality. So if you don't really buy it yet, don't worry about it. The purpose of the series is just to build up interest in the possibility of these animals being present in Southern Ontario, and also just doing my best to capture undeniable video evidence of these animals. So without further ado, let's get into this topic more. You may find it interesting to learn that invasive black panthers, or leopards rather, is not really an unproven thing on the world scene. For example, the UK currently has a big debate going on whether they have an invasive leopard population. And there's a lot of credibility to this, especially since the government confirmed 6 different occasions where they gathered leopard DNA. 2 of these were recently, where a leopard had just killed a sheep and they tested the nearby environment and found leopard hair. It's really quite an interesting rabbit hole of the internet if you want to dive right into it. There's that.
So, yeah, I mean, he's talking about the British big cat phenomena, which in the 60s and 70s, different legislation was passed that required people to register and get licensing and meet minimum caretaking requirements for their big cats. And this goes way back, and I'm weird, circus thing. I'm really into the history of menageries and circuses and stuff. And they sort of have their root in this British tradition of the aristocracy having exotic animals just roaming their gardens, right? Like, and I'm talking tigers and leopards and bears and things, not just peacocks and giraffes, right? They would have these creatures roaming their gardens. Like, they didn't know how to care for them or anything. It was just a sign of power. They'd throw them, a chicken to eat or whatever, and call it good. They didn't have any kind of care standards. So this continued on up actually into the 1950s. And people were mauled all the time in these garden parties and stuff, because it was a sign of just you were the cream of the crop if you had a tiger roaming in your garden while you were having a tea party, right? And the poor servants that worked for these people, they were like, just common, like British commoners or whatever. And they're like, oh, the stable hand or whatever, we're hiring you to take care of the horses. Okay, yeah, I was raised to take care of horses. Also, we have 3 tigers and a lion that you need to take care of as well. And it's like, what the fuck? The horse guy gets tasked with taking care of free roaming garden lions, right? Holy shit. So then in the 60s roll around, and animal rights activism and stuff starts to become a real sticking point. So laws get enacted to say, hey, you can't have these things just roaming your garden anymore. If you have them, you have to have a license to have them. They have to meet certain, veterinary requirements. They have to meet certain housing and safety requirements for you to be able to keep them. And then the people that didn't want to go through all that hassle was like, well, fuck that, I'm just going to let it go. And they take them out to the woods and dump them. And so for about a decade after this legislation was passed, you just had big cat sightings all over the UK. Tigers, lions, leopards, jaguars, mountain lions, lynxes. And some of them were shot. And they were actually, yes, this is a released pet of somebody. So do with that what you will, but the same thing could happen in Canada, I suppose. But in Canada, Ontario, Canada, is a little bit colder, I think.
Actually, 2 areas on the globe where there's a lot of these Black Panther sightings as well. There's a ton of sightings that happen in Victoria, Australia. And that's kind of like a big province in Australia. That's Melbourne's province. There's also a lot of sightings that happen in the southern United States. And there's a lot of people there who are trying really hard to prove that they're present in the countryside.
Now, I would be more willing to believe that they're seeing big black cats in Texas, because jaguars used to live in Texas up until the 1920s, right? They lived in the mountains in Texas. And yeah, they have melanistic populations. Their melanistic populations are rare north of the equator, but they do exist.
The only 2 animals which are illegal to own in Ontario would be a pit bull and an orca. So because of this, Southern Ontario has kind of...
Wait, you can't own an orca in Canada? What kind of fascist nonsense is that? And you can have a Siberian tiger, but you can't have a pit bull.
Created a black market for exotic animals like big cats. And it is estimated that in Canada as a whole, there is over 186,000 big cats, ranging from servals to tigers. And speaking of tigers, Canada actually has a population of 2,300 captive tigers, 713 of which are present in Ontario. The more you know, eh? New bylaws
that was so Canadian. The more you know, eh?
have been put in place in recent years, but the damage is kind of done, as for decades there was absolutely no laws regarding pet ownership. If people are releasing kangaroos and alligators, you can better believe they're releasing big cats as well. Why? Well, because
people are just careless and cruel to animals.
There's a lot of unexpected high maintenance with these animals. They're dangerous, of course, because they can kill you if they want to. And a lot of people don't know that big cats actually have the habit of spraying. So if you have a big cat like that in your home, eventually your whole house would be coated with its urine. So something like that might...
Yeah, and then the again, these aristocrats with their menagerie, that was that stable hand's job to clean that up.
motivate you to let the animal free. And also, it's expensive to feed these things. These things need a lot of meat all the time. And perhaps people could also be afraid of getting trouble by the authorities. For all these reasons...
So, Ember, the eastern cougar was declared extinct in 2011. I believe it was 2011. The problem with pit bulls is the humans that own them. Absolutely. Breed-specific laws are animal racism, basically. Yeah.
Likely, they're buying these cubs, they're raising them, but due to unexpected things, they're releasing them out into our wilds. So, the word on the street for big cats is that they typically sell for $5,000 to $20,000. And if it were me and I wanted to buy a jaguar or a leopard, I really wouldn't want the typical Amazonian coat. I would be like Bruce Wayne, you know, does it come in black? I would want the black coats that I felt like I had my money's worth. And if it looked more like...
Okay, a house cat. I was going to say, that is a house cat, but thank you for acknowledging that that's a house cat, I was about to say. But, yeah, exotic pet people do prefer the rare... the rare phenotypes, right? They want the melanistic and albinos and stuff like that, or I guess you don't really see very many I always get this word mixed up. It's the red coloration, erythistic.
Just a big house cat, right? So for these reasons, it's very likely that the source of Southern Ontario's Black Panther sightings is from the exotic pet trade. What also is very interesting about big cats is if you call the local zoos in the area, some of them will talk to you and they'll confirm that when it comes to the winter time, they don't bring them inside. All year, these animals are out in the cold and they're doing just fine. So the question isn't...
Yeah, I mean, they have access to heating pads and shelter houses and stuff. They can still go outside. Most animals will enjoy playing in the snow for some extent of time, but it doesn't mean that they're adapted to survive in that environment when and sustain themselves in that environment.
If it will survive the cold. The question is, will this animal be capable of killing enough prey to sustain itself? And really, when you narrow that down, there's only a couple animals which likely will be able to live out in our forest. It can't be lions or animals which
Yeah, okay, this is fine. Yeah. I don't have any problem with this. Just looking at the differences it's pointing out between leopards and jaguars, making sure that I don't have anything to bitch about.
likely will be able to live out in our forest. It can't be lions or tigers if they escape, because there's no way they'd ever be able to kill enough prey to sustain themselves. However, something which requires even less food perhaps than our local native cougars do might do just fine. Something perhaps like a melanistic leopard, or perhaps, if it's handy and capable enough, a melanistic jaguar. People
If it's handy and capable enough, what does that even mean?
may wonder if there's big cats being released from all across Southern Ontario from exotic pet ownership. Why are people only seeing black panthers? Now, the answer is actually really interesting to that.
This is your speculation, though. This is your hypothesis. Don't say, oh, this is the answer.
And in summary, it's because out of all the big cats, only black panthers have the best shot of surviving our climate and capturing prey.
That's not true. I would say a snow leopard would probably do a little bit better in Ontario than a black jaguar.
Let me explain. You see,
like a Siberian tiger would probably do a lot better in Canada than a jaguar would. As a matter of fact, I think most big cats, I don't know.
Southern Ontario actually has another animal which is completely black and does just fine here. And that would be the black bear. Now,
could that be because it's an omnivore?
Black bears have black fur because they have melanin in it. And with big cats, big black panthers, they are black because they also have an abundance of melanin. And that's why they're referred to as melanistic.
Yeah, but when you look at melanistic trends among big cats, it's an equatorial trend. The more likely they are to be melanistic is the closer they are to the equator. Like if you look at the distribution, let me see. See, is there a map for us? Here we go. Yeah, here we go. Okay. It's going to be kind of pixelated, but it'll be all right. Okay, so we're going to look at all right. It's pixelated, but it should be good enough for y'all to make out what it is. So the red is the density. And the distribution, as you can see, for black jaguars is very limited and very, very equatorial, right? Like if you'll see them all go all the way up here, but this is very equatorial. I don't even see any red in here. Maybe there's a little red spot right there, and this also applies to here we go. This also applies to come on, that's not what I wanted to do. Why does it keep saying it's downloading it? Will it let me open it with the browser? Hold on. I got the leopard one here too, is what I'm trying to pull out. Sorry, keeping y'all waiting while I do this, but okay, here we go. Yeah, we'll just pull this over. I had to go to the website, the ecology website, to get it. It wouldn't let me open it just regularly. But again, distribution of leopards, right? Distribution of black leopards, equatorial. So it's kind of a weird theory to say that only black ones can survive in the colder climates, because it seems like black coloration is neotropical.
So scientists believe that black bears have a black coat, so that in the wintertime they absorb as much heat as possible. See where I'm going with this? It would be hard for an animal to survive in Canada if it didn't have a black coat, if it didn't have some advantage to help stay warm in the cold winters. Now, that's just my own personal theory. Like, as I tell you guys often, like, just...
Yeah, but I just showed you, I mean, hopefully, maybe you'll watch this. If you do, hi. Thanks for dropping in. But I don't think that theory holds up, just based on the distribution maps that we just looked at.
Remember, I'm not a scientist. I'm just a guy on YouTube, and I'm really just figuring this out as I go along. However, I do feel that is something worth considering. So then the question would be, which of these big cats are most likely our new invasive species? And at this point in time, in truth, I really don't know for certain. I know I've speculated that Indian leopards are the most likely animal, and that very likely is true. However, I was looking at that from an animal smuggling source perspective, and now I'm looking at this project from an exotic pet that got released instead perspective. And so likely whatever invasive animal is in our backyards has to be the one which has the highest numbers in captivity in Ontario. That's likely our culprit. Of course, we have some theories which we are working on. One would be that it's the African leopard, due to how African leopards are kept a lot in captivity. Another one would be jaguars, as of course Rick Rosette's photograph, he personally believes the animal to be a jaguar. And another idea would be...
I believe the animal to be a domestic cat, though. I think I've made that clear.
What I've said in previous videos, that of Indian leopards, because of how well they adapt to colder environments, as they're currently native to cold areas of the Himalayas. I'd actually really...
And they are the most often black. The most melanistic of the big cats are Indian leopards.
Value your guys' thoughts on this. If you could, let me know what species you think it is in the comment section down below. As
domestic cat and dogs. Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get down to the bottom of this soon, but we need a little bit of help from you guys. Now, some people believe all of these sightings are black cougars, melanistic cougars, but the problem with that is there's never been a recorded and verified melanistic cougar in all of history. So we're basically talking about a unicorn here. It's a horse, but it has a horn, right? Like it's
I agree. A melanistic cougar is a unicorn.
Cougar, but it's black. It's never been recorded, and studies go back at least 100 years. For example, albino cougars are a real thing, but it is estimated that only one cougar out of 10,000 individuals is born an albino. So mutations like this in cougars...
White cougars are so pretty too. ...are
ridiculously rare. And also, a second thing to consider is, according to scientists, if a black cougar was born, it probably would not be pitch black. And the problem with that is...
Oh, good. He's going to talk about it. The counter shading thing.
The videos I am receiving from the public are pitch black. It's estimated that these animals would have a gray underbelly and a little bit of brown still in their coat. So,
like how the leopards and jaguars still have some, you can still see the spots in their coats.
It's not what's getting reported. With modern technology, if these animals were that common, they would have not remained undiscovered. We would know about it. We would know that there's black cougars, that cougars can turn melanistic. But the ratio is too high. It's too high. So clearly, something other than the rare genetics of animals has to be in play in Ontario. There has to be more than just that.
This is like, yeah, people are citing something. No doubt, but every time that there's a video of it, it's like a dog or a cat. Or like, you know, a house cat.
Which brings me back to invasive species. Keep in mind too, like news reports do comment about escaped animals all the time. So I have to also take that into consideration as well. So until the impossible gets proven, I have to stick to the plausible. And if someone genuinely does find a melanistic cougar in the future, I may have to retract some of my sentences, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the same ground there. If a melanistic cougar does pop up and someone shoots one or catches one or traps one gets found on the side of a road, whatever, I will eat my words. I will eat my hat.
But until that point, I got to stick to what is most likely. So now that we have gone over the suspects for these Black Panther sightings, I do have a special request to make of you guys. If you have ever seen a waist-high black cat with a really long tail, please don't keep it to yourself. Let me know, guys. I really need that information. I need to know where I need to set up my cameras, right? So please let me know the exact location where it was spotted, and also let me know the year that you saw it. Reach out to my email at fishingurbonontario@gmail.com.
Any of my Ontario audience members, go ahead and, yeah, do that.
Or the comment section down below, or my friend's Facebook group, Big Cat Southern Ontario, if you'd like. Don't worry, all submissions, all sightings are always left anonymous. And I really would appreciate your help once again. But let's talk about just that. Let's talk about someone who submitted a sighting to me and how I was able to use it to my full benefit to gather evidence of big black panthers being present in Southern Ontario.
Okay, here we go.
This really is cool, guys, this footage. If I had any doubts personally of black panthers being present in Ontario, this got rid of it.
What the is that?
A dog.
I actually drove 3 hours away to Sterling, Ontario, and
Guy, that's a dog.
I got some wonderful comparison videos that help scale the animal and give some size. So I hope you guys
Scale the dog.
find it really cool. Let me show you what I did. All right, everyone. So if you look behind me here, the background is the
And I'm
same.
not throwing shade. This guy is doing like legit cryptozoology here. I really appreciate what he's doing here. I'm not trying to throw shade, but yeah, that's definitely a dog.
As that exact video, there's even this branch here which has lied down on the ground in the exact same formation, untouched since a week ago. There's that stump right there. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna walk down there and I'm gonna take the same path that that black cat took in hopes of kind of giving
You're poisoning the well by calling it a black cat. It was a dog.
guys a little bit of a size comparison to help gauge exactly how big that animal was.
Why don't you want me to be able to have an orca, Al? Dog. Dog. Dog.
So here's the sign. Here I am, I'm about 5'9". Give you a little bit of scale. This was a big cat, guys. This was a big animal.
Or it was a dog. It was a doggo.
That should prove that we cannot say for certain anymore that there are no predatory apex predator black panthers out in Southern Ontario. That footage, even though it's very blurry, kind of tells us what it was, especially if you slow down the motion of the video and look at that tail spread out across the floor. If you keep your eye on that black dot there on the ground, you will see that the black dot behind the tail is moving as well, which means it's part of the tail. The grass is covering
Or the tail is ruffling the foliage, and whatever that black dot is part of the foliage being ruffled with it. That's a possibility too.
But that whole thing is a long tail, a long body. And house cats do not have a tail that grows that long. The only things it could be is either invasive leopards or black cougars.
You heard something in the woods, y'all.
Something in the bush freaking me out. I'm yelling very loudly. There shouldn't be anything in the bush. What's over there?
What do you mean there shouldn't be anything in the bush? You're in Ontario, or Ontario. I say it both ways depending on the inflection. There's moose and deer and bears. 2 species of bears. I think there's timber wolves. There's coyotes now that have moved into the area. There are squirrels and birds and raccoons. Lots of critters.
Let's go over there now and let's set up a camera in hopes of one day capturing really great HD footage of that animal. I tell you, this is smelly. Look at that, look at that. You're a kitty kitty. Let's just smell this place up like meat, you know?
He's like rubbing the meat.
Now that the trail cam is all set up, I'm back home, and there's really only one thing left to do, and that is just to wait, guys. These trail cams, you just have to place them and let a lot of time go by, right? Eventually, you'll see all the animals, no doubt, in that area, across in front of that camera. And if you want to see what that camera captures, there's really only one way you'll be able to do that, and that is if you hit the subscribe button down below. Now, if you don't hit that button, you're not going to get notified.
You're doing real cryptozoology, and I love it, sir. I'm just going to hit the subscribe button. I'm going to ring the bell so that I can see what's going on. Because even though I disagree with some of your conclusions that you're drawing, I really appreciate the actual cryptozoology that you're partaking in. It's like, this is what people need to be doing. This is real cryptozoology. This isn't freaking Todd Standing grifting nonsense. This is someone actually saying, hey, there's the phenomena. Let's figure out what's going on. So I appreciate you fishing Urban Ontario. Matter of fact, I'll let you finish shilling.
About new videos on the series, or this channel as a whole. And that'd be a total loss. So I'd suggest for you guys to hit the subscribe button down below. You don't want to miss out. If you guys perhaps also want to volunteer your time for these projects, reach out to my email, fishingurbanontariO@gmail.com. We could use a lot of help, of course, as there's a lot of things to do, a lot of sightings to report, and a lot of trail cams that need to be placed. Speaking of trail cams,
Ontario's a far way from me, though.
If you are a company that produces trail cams, don't hesitate to reach out to me if you would like your product to be advertised on this channel. I would love to have a sponsor that I could recognize as being the official trail cam of this channel. I think that'd be really cool, and I think it would help you guys add a lot of positive publicity to your product. But reach out to my email if you're interested, fishingurbanontariO@gmail.com. I'd love to work with you. And until the next video, guys, all I can really tell you is thanks for watching. I really do try and keep this as interesting, fun, and informative as I possibly can.
Appreciate you guys.
And I really hope you have enjoyed the video. So once again, thank you guys for watching, and take care.
Again, I didn't see anything that I found convincing that that it was actually a big cat, but I am intrigued, and I am subscribed now. So this was 3 months ago, so we have to check back in after and see if his trail cam's ever caught anything. I mean, he has Bigfoot stuff on here too, so I mean, gives you like an idea of where the dude stands on some of the cryptozoology things. He's been doing this for years. Look at 9 years is how long he's been on this. I guess he's really amped up here in the last year with putting out stuff. So good on him. 21K subscribers, 66 videos. They're doing a lot better than I am. So I'll give you props for that. But what do you guys think? What do you all think about Ontario's mystery big cats? Are they a real thing? Are they something that's going to be discovered in the near future? Is it going to be a invasive leopard or jaguar? Is it going to be a melanistic cougar? Is it going to be something else entirely? You let me know in the comments down below. Please remember to be kind, take care, and we will see you next time.